Ava Reid, one of my favorite authors. Here is a comprehensive guide to all of Ava Reid's books. As of right now, Ava Reid has published 4 books with 2 more books coming out next year, 3 adult and 3 young adult. Their debut novel was The Wolf and the Woodsman. This is the first one that I read, and it is a great place to start. It is a dark, gruesome fantasy story. This is set in a fantasy world with pagan magic, and a woman is chosen to be a blood sacrifice for the king. So she's taken from her village, and along the way, trials, tribulations happen. This is bloody, it's gory, it's gross. I love it. At its core, I definitely would consider this a romance book. One of the reasons that I don't consider myself a fan of romance is because romance is what drives the story. It's more of a supplemental thing, but it is like the core, the heart of the story, and it's so good. I love the way Ava Reid writes romance. We'll get more into that. Juniper and Thorin is actually set in the same world as The Wolf and the Woodsman. I think it's set further in the future though, because now industry is rapidly growing. The protagonist and her sisters are witches, their father is a wizard, and they're having to face the fact that people are now relying more on technology than they are magic. This book is a retelling of the fable The Juniper Tree, which I'm not familiar with, and you don't need to be familiar with to read this because it didn't affect my reading. But really, this is about the abuse that these girls endure at the hands of their father. There are some very queasy, disgusting moments in this book. If you're a fan of Labor by Paris Paloma, this book. And Ava Reid's most recent adult novel is Lady Macbeth, which is a retelling of Shakespeare's Macbeth. Admittedly, this is my least favorite of all the books on this list, but it still has those creepy, dark, gothic vibes. Also, this is my favorite cover. If you're a fan of Macbeth and Shakespeare, I definitely think it's worth a read. Now on to young adult, A Study in Drowning. This is fantasy, dark academia. This is about a girl, and she's been plagued by visions of this fairy king since she was little. She's also obsessed with this book by this author, who then has a contest to redesign his estate. And she is an architecture student, so she's like the perfect candidate. But there is also an academic rival. So it's like a rivals to lovers situation, and it is so sweet. I absolutely love it. I love the romance. This book is getting a sequel later this year, and I'm so excited. Ava Reid's other YA book, which is coming out in March of this year, is Fable for the End of the World. Unlike all of the other books I just mentioned, which were fantasy, this is YA dystopian. And in the society, there is this televised show called The Lamb's Gauntlet, where these highly trained female killers, who are like basically cyborgs, are sent to hunt down and kill people, and it's live streamed across the country. If they survive, it pays off all of their debts, but like, let's be honest, nobody ever survives. As somebody who's read a lot of YA dystopian, this was awesome. I can see a lot of the inspirations, like The Hunger Games, and it really felt like I was returning to like my 2012 roots. Let me know which Ava Reid book is your favorite, and if you haven't read any, which one you're most looking forward to.